I'm from the foe. You dig?
What up, what up, what up, and what it do? Welcome back to the first, I guess, the newest edition of The Way I See It Sports with your boy Jamario Rashad. I know I have been gone for a while. I appreciate everybody that is sticking with me and coming back on this journey. I promise I'm back. I'm coming with all types of content. I got y'all, I promise. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button. It will help me out a lot. I really, really appreciate it. So, what this episode is going to focus on is what I find to be, I'll let y'all know that later. We're going to talk about the XFL. The new, I don't want to say amateur because it is a pro sports league, but let's say the minor league professional football. They're about halfway through the season. Week 5 just finished, and I know a lot of people want to know, is it boring? Is it even worth watching? I honestly say yes. I was never into the AAF, the American Allegiance or Alliance, or whatever that was last year. I was never into it. I never caught any highlights. I never cared to look up any highlights, but the XFL is different. Not just because it's owned by Mr. Vince McMahon himself, not I might cut that part, or I might keep it, I'm not sure. But not just because it's about Vince McMahon, or made by Vince McMahon. It's actually quality football. Now, when it was launched for the first time back in 2000, I believe, I was only 5 years old, so I have no recollection whatsoever of what went down back then, but I can say that I am a fan of the product this year. A lot of people had the critique or the assumption that it wouldn't be good football simply because these guys aren't in the NFL. But then I do want to remind you all that these are guys that did play high level Big Ten, SEC football, all Big Ten, all the good stuff. These are guys that just have either been in the NFL or never made it to the NFL. Most of these guys have been on rosters and or either or practice squad, and now they're just down in the XFL. These are professionals. The quality of play is a lot higher than the average college game. I myself am not that much of a fan of college football. For one, there's too many teams, and for two, the media hype throughout my life has only made it seem as though there's about 5 that ever mattered, so I never caught on with the fanfare. But with the XFL, I've been with them since week 1, and I've pretty much just been, week to week. I love it. If it's not boring, the quality of play is amazing, and I would recommend it to anybody. One big thing, or a couple big differences within the XFL are the rule changes. A lot of people want to know about the rule changes. The first that you'll see that'll stand out to be the biggest is where the two teams position themselves when they do the initial kickoff. So rather than lining up on the opposing sides of the field and running as fast as you can and colliding into a 300-pound man and hoping that your bones don't break, rather both teams line up on the receiving side of the field about 5 yards apart, and neither side is allowed to move into, I believe, 3 or 5 seconds after the kick or the return man catches the ball. Then there's no build up, there's no momentum, so there's not many hard impacts. So that's the first. I would rather. Okay, my only critique on this is more so with the coaches. I don't understand why the coaches haven't created somewhat of a scheme or a play within the run back to take advantage of the new rules. I believe one team, it was I want to say the St. Louis Battlehawks. They ran a reverse on a punt return, and they took it back for a touchdown. And I just sat there and wondered, I'm like, why don't more teams just initially try to do this on the kickoff, or at least once or twice a game, at least give it a shot. And then let's say the second rule that will stand out or jump off the screen to you is the double forward pass. Now, in the NFL, you're only allowed to make a forward pass if the quarterback makes the initial forward pass, or if you if you pitch it back or laterally, then you can still throw it forward. Now in the XFL, you're allowed to throw the ball forward 2 times as long as the ball does not cross the line of scrimmage. I love the rule. It makes it a lot more exciting, but my critique with that is the same that it is with the first rule. I am upset that more coaches haven't just came up with plays or devised a scheme that would allow for this manipulation of the rules to be taken care of, to be done a little more often. I've seen it done one time, and I thought it was an amazing play, and I have no idea why I haven't seen it since. I want to again say it was the St. Louis Battlehawks, and I believe they were going for a conversion after the touchdown. And the receiver came across on a sweep pre-play, and they snapped it while he was in motion, and they gave it to him on what looked or appeared to be a sweep to the outside. Now, when all the defenders, linebackers, DBs, and everybody swarmed the ball, he then just threw to the receiver who was in the back of the end zone uncovered, because of course nobody covered him because this is clearly a run play because it's a sweep. But it's not. It's the XFL. That's one forward pass. He can do another forward pass. I thought that was beautiful. I thought it was smart, and I thought it was executed perfectly. I have not seen anything like that since. So I love the rule. I hate how it's being taught. And I mean, it's still the first season, so I know these coaches are still getting used to the rule changes as well as the players, but I want to see that changed. And the third and final big rule or big change to regulation is there are no point after touchdown kicks. So in the NFL, typically once you score 6, it's pretty much a foregone deal. The kicker's about to come on the field. You're about to get 2 to 3 commercial breaks. It's about to be 10 minutes before more football is played. That doesn't happen within the XFL. After you score in the XFL, you have the option to do one of 3 things. You can go for a 1-point conversion from the 2-yard line, a 2-point conversion from the 5-yard line, or a 3-point conversion from the 10-yard line. Offense stays on the field every time. There are no kicks after touchdowns. This allows a team to be down at least up to 9 points and for it to still be a 1-possession game. So as a viewer, when you're at home, if you turn on and you see that the score is, let's say, maybe 28-7, you don't think that it's just out of reach or this game is pretty much over, because within the next few minutes they can score a maximum of a lot of points. I'm not gonna do math because y'all might pick on me, but they can score a lot of points within that time. So then that just makes the game a lot better. So I really like that change. I would love to see the NFL do it because games slow down a lot, and I don't like to see a bunch of commercials. It's already Sunday, the day's slow, I'm bored, I'm sitting on the couch, I want to see some football. So those are my thoughts on the initial changes to the rules and regulations within football in the XFL. Now let's talk about the actual teams and players. I'm not going to get too deep into every team because I can say there are a couple of teams in the league that I just absolutely despise watching their games because they're boring, very vanilla offenses, a bunch of runs, bunch of stuff. With the again, alluding back to the rule changes, I do not expect to see a boring offense when I turn on this television. I mean, I want to see creativity. I need to see all minor league McVays at these doggone offensive coordinator positions, because I'm tired of these vanilla offenses where you can do so much and it's like, come on, man, we're trying to win. Y'all get good ratings, but come on, at least give me consistent good football. But there are some standout teams and or players in the league. Personally, well, first of all, let me give reverence to the undefeated Houston Roughnecks led by quarterback P.J. Walker, formerly of the Indianapolis Colts and Temple University. He is right now the favorite for MVP. I believe he has 15 total touchdowns with only 4 interceptions. He's just been a clear standout. Houston has been amazing. His go-to receiver, Cam Phillips, 9 touchdowns, almost. I don't want to. I don't know the yards off the top of my head, but he has 9 touchdowns through 5 weeks. Like literally monstrous out there. So Houston, I have to give reverence to him. Those are some bad boys. I love watching them. PJ Walker, he's a mobile quarterback, but he's not a running quarterback, quote unquote. Yes, he's mobile. He may scramble to get out the pocket to throw, but he's not a what people thought Lamar Jackson was. Just say, I'm going to scramble every time. No, he makes some throws. He has his flaws. To anybody that actually sits and watches the games, he does have his flaws. But on highlights, amazing. Haven't lost the game yet. But personally, I think the best overall quarterback would be for the LA Wildcats, and that would be Josh Johnson. Okay, here's the deal. I heard Josh Johnson's name about 50,000 times before I ever actually seen who this guy was, and this is my first time actually seeing who he was in the XFL. I would always hear about him on all the sports shows like, oh, they're so desperate, they're about to call Josh Johnson. He hasn't thrown the ball since 2015. I'm thinking the guy's like 38 years old, Tyrannosaurus, dinosaur dude, right? Dude's 33 years old. He's a great quarterback. You can tell that he's had NFL experience. Very poised in the pocket. Makes some big time throws, very timely throws. He commands the offense. When they mic him up on the sideline, you can hear the command that he has over his team, the connection that he has with his offensive coordinator and his coach. It's just amazing. And then he has his go-to receiver who missed the first 2 games of the year and is still a top 5 receiver in receptions and touchdowns, and that would be Trey McBride. He is exciting. I love watching Trey McBride and the LA Wildcats overall, led by Winston Moss. They are only 2-3, so I cannot sit up here and beat my chest and say how good of a team that they are, but I really, really do believe that they are one of the better teams that are pretty much just behind in the standings, but if they can catch fire at the right time and actually make it into the playoffs, I can see a big upset coming from the LA Wildcats. And the final team I want to talk about is the St. Louis Battlehawks. I thoroughly enjoy watching the St. Louis Battlehawks and their quarterback Jordan Ta'amu. This last week when they lost to the DC Defenders, if I'm not mistaken, but they did lose, it was a very off game from them. I'm used to seeing a lot better play and a lot more consistency out of the offense, and they pretty much just got whooped. But I do want to give a shout out to Ta'amu. He would be a rookie quarterback in the league in the NFL this year, so I don't want to give him too much flack. He is still developing. He is still a prospect, but I believe overall the Battlehawks have a great team. They have great DBs between Will Hill and Kenny Robinson, who right now could still be, I believe, a junior at, I don't want to name the school, but in college. So he's an amazing young player. I love to watch them. They have great stories on the sidelines. So shout out to the Battlehawks. Aside from that, I don't really have too much favor for any particular team. I want to say shout out to Cameron Artis Payne for the Dallas Renegades, a former Carolina Panther. Keep pounding. You keep pounding and do your thing, big dog. But other than that, since Landry Jones went down, I have not too much to say about the Renegades. And yeah, I don't care too much for the other teams in the league. I watch their highlights, but as far as me being a fan, no. I watch it for analytical purposes and so I can bring you all these videos. So if you are a fan of the XFL or you're going to watch a game after you're watching my video, please leave me a comment, like the video, and like I said in the beginning, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. Every subscription helps. I'm a small channel. The algorithm is against me. I love you because you did it already. And if you didn't, you go do it and I'll love you soon. But until next time, this is The Way I See It Sports with Jamario Rashad, and I holla at you. Peace.